Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Quantum Unveiled, 6 Secrets to Creating Unlimited Potential, the 6 secrets to that. I'm going to be sharing with you, we're going to be going step by step through my 6-part process for creating miracles, for manifesting, for how to work with the quantum field and what that really looks like, and how we are, I just did something. Well, let me try this again. Oh, lost my video. Gotta love technical difficulties, everyone. Just 1 second. There we go. I'm back. So I'm so excited to have you all joining me here this wonderful evening as we dive deep into the reality of the quantum world and how we can manifest, create miracles, experience bliss consciousness, and do it in a really powerful way. I'm going to share a little bit about my story about how I came around and with quantum miracles and working that, because I think that that's really powerful for understanding what I've been doing with quantum miracles work and why I find this process to be so powerful and different than all of the other manifesting and ideas that have been shown and shared out there. So in 2017, I had been running my business at that point for about 7 years. And I was pretty successful. I'd traveled all over the world, spoke on hundreds of stages, had been sharing techniques for healing and for manifesting and for self-love and all of these different types of things that I had been doing. And I was in Nepal when I stumbled across an experience that really shifted the way that I looked at creating the world and manifesting and healing. And when I was in Nepal, I was working with women and children that had been trafficked. I was hiking through the mountains, the Himalayas. I had just come from spending a month in India, where I'd also been doing trafficking work, and I'd spoken at the Women's Economic Forum. And there was still a lot of my life that I was super successful by all means about where the world was showing that, but I had a lot of like frustration and anger and a lot of things where I was still working really hard. I had just had a experience with my with my business where I had almost walked away from everything in 2016, the year before. So there's a lot of internal struggle going on and outside struggle, even though I was doing really successful. How many of you have ever felt that? You're like, I do all of the right things and still somehow things just don't seem to go the way that I want them to go. Or it's really hard. I have to work really hard to create the thing that I want. And I started to say, okay, what is different? What can I do to be different? I rented a canoe to go across the in Pokhara, Nepal, so that I could go across this beautiful lake, so that I could hike a mountain and see a golden Buddha at the top of the mountain. And so I get there, and the gentleman looks at me and he's like, "Oh, you'll be fine. You can go across the this lake by yourself. It'll be fine. You can do that." And so, of course, me being a super athlete and having hiked all over the world, and I do things like ice climbing and snowboarding and triathlons, like all sorts of stuff. I was like, sure, I got this. Well, what should have been a 20-minute canoe ride across the lake turned into an hour and a half of me struggling to get across this lake. I'm struggling really hard, and I can't get it. And I am frustrated. I am mad. And I'm like, what do you mean this is easy? This shit isn't easy. So I get over to the mountain. I hike it up. I see this beautiful golden Buddha. I have this feeling of like, bliss. And I'm like, okay, it was worth the struggle. But now I've got to go back across the lake. I got to go back across the lake that was, that took me an hour and a half to get to, and I have to go back. On the way back, I got so mad and frustrated at the lake that it was pushing me everywhere and everything, and I'm struggling to get it out, that I picked up the oar and I slammed it down and I broke it. Now, what do you do in the middle of a lake when you break an oar that you're trying to use to get across the lake that it already took you an hour and a half to get across, where you're tired, you've just hiked a mountain and all of these things? You don't have any choice but to let go and surrender. Well, the beautiful thing is what I learned in that moment was when I stopped struggling, I made it back to the other side super easy. It literally just took me there. I had been trying so freaking hard to get where I wanted to go, thinking that I had to have the control, that I knew the way, that I was the one that had to control the water, that I had to control everything, that I was actually impeding my progress and my way to get to the mountain and to get back. And when I broke that oar and didn't have a choice but to allow the lake to take me where it wanted to take me, I got to my destination immediately. It's such an idea of like how we live our lives. How do we live our lives? We are always constantly thinking, we know better than the field. We know better than the universe. I've got this. I can control, I can struggle, I can do all of these things. But what if we can learn how to just go with the flow, go with the synchronicity, go with everything, and then just allow it to let you arrive at your destination? That's what I'm going to share with you today, is how do we let go, surrender, so that you can arrive at that destination and the things that might be getting in the way of you having that. So I'm so glad that you're here with me, and so that I can share this way of surrender with you. So my name is Melissa Minnick. You may have known me as Melissa Binkley for those of you that have been around in my courses and classes for a long time. I just had a name change back to my original name from my birth. So I'm Melissa Minnick, and I was the founder of the Intuitive Intelligence Academy, which was one of the world's leading schools for quantum healing and spiritual alchemy. I have a docuseries that's reached over 1 million people, where I've interviewed the top leading doctors, scientists, and spiritual leaders from all over the world. And I am an international best-selling author. And I believe that you can create miracles in your life and learn how to get high on life. I'm currently in the process of getting a PhD in the science of consciousness and human potential, with a tract in Vedic science and quantum physics. So I've been taking this stuff that I've been teaching and learning for the last, how long has it been now? What year? Oh, so 13, 14 years, and taking it to the next level. And it's been a lot of fun, and I really have been enjoying this journey with each of you. But it wasn't always that way for me. I was homeless in 2009, and before I started my business in 2010. And before that, I had a lot of other things going on. Actually, in my early 20s, after I graduated summa cum laude from Ohio State and top of my class, ended up becoming a international drug trafficker. And really doing some crazy things in my life before I decided to heal my life. So now I talk about, instead of getting high on drugs, I get high on life. I'm actually working on my next book right now, High on Life, A Prescription for Bliss, which is going to be published by a big publishing house coming out in 2025, which I'm super excited about. So enough about me. Most of you already probably know who I am. I want to get in and dive into the principles of quantum unveiled, quantum reality. And I also want to find out who's with me, where are you from, what's happening. So I want to know, what is your intention? Why are you here? What is what brought you here today? I'd love to hear, and maybe you can share, where are you joining me from? So are you ready to unlock the hidden potential within you and become a magnet for magic and miracles? Literally, our hearts are magnetic, our brains are magnetic, they're electromagnetic fields. You can literally become a magnet. So imagine a life where you can effortlessly translate the miracles of your imagination into reality, where your dreams become tangible manifestations. This is not science fiction. It actually can happen for you, and it can happen in a way that will that will benefit you and the rest of the world. But then what I'll tell you, the caveat to that is, because I was a manifestor and a creator, I would create, money at the drop of a hat. I wanted a surfboard one time. The next day it showed up at my house, all sorts of like cool things I've been able to manifest, right? But then once you get to a certain place where you're living in this state of higher consciousness, what I call bliss consciousness, you end up getting to a place where the material manifestations no longer matter. And it's that letting go that ends up having even more magic and miracles come into your life. So one of my goals with sharing and teaching for you today is, let's manifest those things that you really need. Maybe it's abundance, love, prosperity. I had a woman manifest a baby, like hadn't been able to get pregnant for years, and was able to get manifest a baby. I've had marriages come out of our program. So we've been doing the quantum miracles experience for 5 or 6 years. It took a couple of years off, but consistently I've had almost 1,000 people come through the quantum miracles, the process that I'm going to teach you today, and have seen just incredible miraculous things happen. So what is your intention? What are you hoping to create? And what do you want that you are afraid that you can't have? What do you want that you are afraid that you can't have? Just think about that for a moment, because that's the, is there a dream that you have that is so big that you're like, I don't think I could ever have that? Probably my biggest dream, and I'll talk about harmonic points and imprints in our lives. My biggest dream was always to, I had the business, I had the money, I had all these things after I'd been homeless. Like I created all of these amazing things, but the thing that I always escaped me was love and relationships and finding my lifetime partner, which has been an incredible experience for me when I finally brought that around. All right. So we have someone from Washington State. We have someone from Nassau. Intention is to learn how to make the process of creating easier. My intention is primarily to manifest financial abundance. Oh, yes. Finances are a big one, right? Like I have a lot of people that come and are like, I really want to understand how do I create more abundance in my life, more money, more stability, more freedom, because I think money is never really about the money. It's like, what can money do for you? Money has allowed me to travel to 51 countries. It has allowed me to step on the red carpet, and be in different places all over the world. Money has allowed me to help women and children that have been trafficked. Money has allowed me to do a lot of things. So it's not the money that I was ever after. In the beginning, I thought it was, but then when I made my first, I always was like, I want to make $10,000 a month. And then I remember in 2014, when I finally made that, and I was, after having been homeless, and then in 2014, finally making $10,000 a month. In 2015, I realized I was like, that's not it. Because then I had tripled my income again. And I was like, it's deeper than that. I thought it was money, but once you have safety and security, it was about contribution and giving back and what money could do for me, the energy of money. So what do you want that you're afraid that you can't have? So just imagine that you have the ability to uncover hidden blocks that have been sabotaging your success and replace them with a deep sense of centeredness and love. Picture yourself breaking free of old brain habits. Think about that thing that you want or that intention that you have. And what is the thing that is keeping you from having it? Well, it's going to be something around your energetic system and your brain and, the things that you want. Oh, and I even said in here where you break free from old brain habits and you create a new reality where money flows effortlessly into your life. Well, not just money, love, maybe a new career purpose. Envision stepping into your true purpose and confidently manifesting whatever you desire. All right, let's see what we've got going on up here. Oh, yes, Michelle is saying, I took the quantum healing course and did quantum healing on a client today. I intend to manifest more clients to help. I know there's a block, but cannot figure it out. Yes, hi, Michelle. It is so good to have you here with us. Our quantum healing course was one of our very popular courses at the Academy. We have from Canada, intention to wait, where'd it go? Intention to jump timelines into one of my highest, best self in life. Oh, yes. Awesome. We're going to be talking about timelines today. So I'm so excited for that. And Emily from California says, I want to manifest a successful business to create a positive impact on my clients' lives. Yes. And then we have from Oregon, hoping to manifest a love relationship that is based on equality and inspiration. You can have every single one of those things. You can have what you want. So let's dive into the 6 keys. Are you guys ready to hear the 6 keys? Great. Let's first start with creative intention. Your intention, right? And we've all heard about intention before. This one's probably not super new to you. And some of these concepts, you might have heard a piece of it or think, but there's a deeper meaning to where we're creating with this intention. I use a 7-step formula for creating powerful intentions. So I want to remind you, just so you know, we are going to be doing a little bit of quantum jumping today. So for those of you that were talking about timeline, after we're done going through the 6 steps, I'm going to do a quantum jump with you. And when you stay on and we do that quantum jump and we come to the end, I'm going to be sharing with you about how you can create and manifest miracles, how you can take your magic and your miracles to the next step, how you can do what you can do step by step in the accountability for the next 8 weeks to solidify these 6 steps into your life. So in creative intention, there's a 7-step formula for creating powerful intentions. There's a way to speak to the universe, to source, to the world that allows you to shape your reality, and it becomes this potent ground for manifesting. So you have to have a foundation, right? If you want to build a house, you need to create what starts with first. You need a blueprint. Now, when you have a blueprint, you can have a blueprint, but from that blueprint, you could actually build several different things, right? Like the blueprint is just a piece of it. So you want to create that blueprint and that foundation that then when you layer on the rest of the steps onto that, you elevate your desires and you weave them into the fabric of the universe. You start to create this space where you are working with the field. How many of you have ever had that moment of synchronicity or had that moment of understanding and you said, yes, I've gotten it. I've felt it for a moment. There's been a moment in my life where I have been able to create and where I've been able to manifest or where I've had a synchronicity happen, but I'm not sure what I did to make that happen. Just like give me a hand wave or put your hands up so we can see. Yes. Yeah. So there's been a lot of times where we do that, right? So the goal is we're going to activate the universe's gifts by vibrating at the frequency of your desire. So one of my favorite things, what we do in our Quantum Miracles experience is we do things, what we call experiments with the field. Now, what is an experiment? Think about science. You try things out to see how it works for you. Right? So you try things out and say, okay, does this experiment work? Because when you experiment with the field, when you experiment with quantum reality, when you shift the way that you're experiencing the world, you will create and implement these things in your life. So one of my favorite experiments that we do is what I call live as if. Now I'm going to share this with you because this is, if you take nothing else away from this class, take this away. Do this month, because I'm going to tell you the story of how I've implemented live as if in my life and how it has changed my life and friends' lives and things like that, just from this simple intention. So live as if, what does that mean? That means think about that helicopter vision, that thing that you want to create, that way that you want to be, that is right there, that you're like, I want that thing. So somebody said, I want financial abundance. I want more clients. I want what a thing. So when you have that, how are you being? Who are you? What are you creating? Right? Like, what is that? What is that feeling? What do you notice? And what is something that person, that future you, would do differently or have. So you create what I call a live as if day. So I'm going to give you an example from one of my clients that used the live as if day so that they could become a powerful speaker. So when they came to me, I used to do speaking coaching because I did a lot of business coach. I did a lot of business coaching and speaking coaching for healers because I was named one of the top 50 female speakers in the United States in 2018. And I built a really successful healing business. And so I would help people build their businesses. And one of the things that one of my speakers that she was wanting to do, she did a live as if day. So what she would do is, what would happen if she was a successful speaker? She wanted to get paid $25,000 an hour to speak on stage. So she would leave the family, leave everybody, and she would go away to a hotel for the weekend. Why? Because a hotel, if you're speaking on someone's stage and they're paying you a lot of money, they're most likely putting you up in the hotel where the event is happening. It's happened for me. When I spoke in India at the Women's Economic Forum, right? I stayed at this really nice 5-star hotel at the Pullman and got to, have that experience. So they put you up at a hotel and then you get to speak at that event. So her live as if was, what would she do over a weekend that when she had been scheduled to speak at an event? And she lived as if that was already happening in her life. She went there with her speech. She'd work on it. She would lay out at the pool like she would. She went and walked in like to an experience like in the room of where she was practicing what it would be like to be at this event. Live as if. Eventually, did she get there? Yes, she has. She is currently a speaker and speaks for like Google and has been on TED Talks and all sorts of amazing stuff. And yes, she does get $25,000 an hour for her talks. Pretty amazing. Another live as if we did. So for my birthday and for New Year's events and things like that, I love to do a live as if party. So a live as if party is really fun because I tell everybody, come as your future self 5 years from now. So at my party, people would come with their book that they had just written, or the couple that was dating, they came with rings on because they were married. They were living as that 5-year person, and they would literally solidify into who they were and what that looked like. And what would happen is those things that they were living into and living as if and talking about with everybody at the party and being that person literally would start to manifest in their lives, because the brain does not know the difference between imagination and reality. This is key in the quantum field. So you're living into that. My favorite live as if that I used to do before COVID was in Orange County, California, where I lived at the time. There was a helicopter service, and you would take a helicopter service. They just opened it up to try because driving from Orange County to LA could be a nightmare. And I would speak in LA and different things like that. And I just did not like the drive. So I started doing my live as if, and I would rent the helicopter service, and I would take my friends to lunch in LA. We would hop on the helicopter. Instead of it taking us 2 hours to get to LA, it would take 15 minutes. I was living as if, like, if I had my own helicopter, or if I had the ability to fly at the drop of a hat to go help people or do any of that kind of stuff. And so I was living into that experience by doing something that was out of my normal daily life, but that was allowing me to have that experience. So live as if. So that's something that, if nothing else, I want you to do a live as if day this month. How many of you are going to commit to a live as if day? Create your intention, that creative intention, and then live as if. So, all right, beautiful. Key number 2 to quantum miracles, to the quantum being unveiled, is what I call spiritual alchemy. What is spiritual alchemy? Well, what is alchemy? Alchemy is transmutation, right? The transmutation of something into gold. In Japan, they have a Japanese pottery. When the pottery breaks, instead of throwing it out, what they do is they mend it with gold. They put it back together and they mend it with gold. It's called kintsukuroi. And kintsukuroi is the belief that something is more beautiful after it is broken. That is spiritual alchemy. It is the creating the connection of, like, when Rumi says, the wound is where the light comes in. Break your heart open, right? In spiritual alchemy, we're literally teaching you the process of transmutation, transmuting the trauma, the challenges, the things into lessons that allow you to connect into the non-physical level of the world, and creating a coherence, a connection between your heart and your brain and the bioenergetic field that then allows you to have a connection with the field. This allows you to open up to sights, right? Insights, signs in the universe. So in spiritual alchemy, what we're doing is we're diving into this transformative world that is beyond the physical. We're learning how to alchemize our wounds, alchemize our experiences, and use it in a way that's powerful. But we're landing it in the physical body, because guess what? We are in this earth suit. We are in this body to land in and learn how to shift the system of the body. All distortions in the field. So distortions meaning issues making money, challenges finding clients, challenges with love, physical illnesses and diseases. All of those are distortions in the field that then show up in your physical reality. And so, and all of those things, those judgments, those experiences, those distortions in your field, they come from judgment. They come from lack of love. Because what is the field? The field is unconditional love. It is the vibration of unconditional love. So anything that is not unconditional love is going to create a wobble or a distortion in your field. So we literally use the physical body to become an antenna for the experience of connecting into this field and allowing healing that at a physical level, right? Physical level of healing, where it transmutes into a non-physical manifestation of the things that you want. So when you embrace this process, you really allow the universe to just enliven your spirit and allow you to open up. So we teach the spiritual alchemy is this process of connecting the heart and the brain, creating resonance that literally allows you to catalyze manifestations in alignment with your soul. Sometimes what happens is we think, because we're living from our beta brain and we think we want something that's actually not in alignment with what our soul wants for us. And so the soul will create all the ways to get you to stop doing that. I found that for myself in 2022, when between the end of 2021 and halfway through 2022, I had 7 people pass away in my life. And I also lost my lover and also my best friend. So I had a massive purging of Phoenix, the fire, everything like burning down around me. I burned down my whole life around me. And I walked away from my business and my home in California in July of last year. So a little over a year ago. Why? Because I had this thing that I thought was what the universe wanted me to do, this academy, this business that I was then forcing, that it was not the right place. There was not the right thing to be doing it. The energy behind what I had created was no longer there, but because I had built such a successful business and had done so well that I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to let it go, but I did for a year. I walked away from everything and regrouped and decided, what was the thing that I need to do? I let it go so much that literally, probably about a month ago. So my website, theintuitiveintelligenceacademy.com, I kept it up because I was like, even though I didn't have the academy anymore and we weren't really offering the programs, all the programs are still available on another site. We have people that are still in them for years that they never go away, but I wasn't offering them as programs. I wasn't selling them. We weren't marketing them. My Intuitive Intelligence Academy website was hacked and phished, and I lost everything, everything, thousands of dollars and years and 20 pages of web pages of everything that we had put into that website, just gone at the blink of a hat. The universe was like, you said you were done, so freaking walk away. And I was like, okay, I get it. I'm done. Even though I had dissolved the business and no longer had any of that in the academy. So sometimes when we are in this spiritual alchemy, when you get into that alignment, when you start to create this connection, you start to get signs and insights and realize that maybe the reason that the blocks or the things haven't been happening the way that you want them to is because the universe has been trying to kindly nudge you to something else. Whereas with me, my kind nudgings to move into a deeper exploration of, which is what made me go back for my PhD during this past year, was into this deeper exploration of consciousness and healing, and to step out of what I was teaching at that time. Does that mean that I'll never share those programs again? No, actually, we will be in a different way. But I was supposed to go explore more consciousness, do more deeper healing, learn more things, and be pushed in a new direction to share with people. So spiritual alchemy is the second key to unlimited potential and creating quantum miracles in your life. Let's see what we got going up here. Awesome. The third thing that is a real key is your brain habits. Now, we all know this, right? This is another one of those, we're not, this isn't anything mind-blowing here, but the way that we work with your brain habits and shifting them is we really want to get beyond not just limiting brain habit beliefs, but I'm talking about getting to higher levels of consciousness. This is where the movement of where I've been shifting and understanding. When I talk about that flow and synchronicity at the beginning, when I told the story about Nepal, when I broke the oar, and then all of a sudden, instead of me fighting for an hour and a half to get across the lake, it just automatically happened. I was in flow. The lake just took me where I needed to go. That is the key to breaking your brain habits and getting to higher states of consciousness. You cannot get to higher states of consciousness when we are living in our subconscious brain, when we are being controlled by it, when we are not in a space. So we want to be opening the pineal gland. We want to understand how to dip into these higher states of consciousness on a regular basis. You've heard it, void, the zero state, all of these things. And I've been was teaching quantum miracles in the past for the last 5 years in a very specific way around your brain habits and understanding, consciousness mastery. But now, as I've been back in school and I've been diving deeper, and I've spent 12 months traveling the world, learning and healing on a deeper level, I've learned some real powerful things about what I call bliss consciousness and how we can step into that on an even deeper level. Because literally, you want to rewrite your reality and break free from those old patterns in a completely new way. And we do that by what we focus on. And so when I say, I see what I want to see, think about this. How many times have you've been like, I'm going to go buy a new car, and you maybe never saw that car. And then all of a sudden, when you decide to buy a car, you see the car everywhere. How many of you have done that, right? Yeah. So what we want to do here is you want to start to experiment in how to train your brain, not just to break free from limiting beliefs. That's part of it, but I'm sure you've probably done a lot of work on limiting beliefs in the past. I'm saying, what if you can just supersede all those limiting beliefs because you're literally living in bliss consciousness, cosmic consciousness, God consciousness, and you are in that space all of the time. That is the key to really perceiving miracles all around you. When you are shifting the way that you're seeing the world, when you're living in a state of bliss. I wake up every day and I thought I was doing pretty good before, 2021. Like, I was happy. I had a great life. I was in a beautiful experience, but I was dipping in and out of bliss consciousness. Like, I would have moments where I'd feel it. I'd have times where I was aligned with it. I'd have pieces of it. But now I literally live in a space where I can see myself as my observer. I just did a vision quest for my birthday, which was back in July. And on my vision quest, like in the past, when I've done vision quest, which is 3 days in the mountains, right? Or somewhere, no food, only drinking water, no media, phones, anything like that. Just you, your pen, notebook, sleeping on the ground in the forest without any food. right? Doing a vision quest. This time, I had the most mind-blowing experience because this was the first time that I've done a vision quest where I didn't have the incessant thoughts. I didn't have the worry. I didn't have things showing up and everything. I was literally in a space of observing myself being like, wow, you're not bored, but you're just there and everything's just good. And I watched the squirrels and I hung out, talked to the trees. But I wasn't working through anything. And that was for me when I finally realized that it was the gift of my vision quest this time. What it was there to teach me was that I had stepped into this new level of consciousness. So when I talk about brain habits is like, how do you allow yourself to get into transcendental state, right? A state where you're in that. And so we work through those beliefs. So you know, the key here is like, notice what you see. Like if you have a fear around getting clients or around making money or around finding a partner or having love in your life, or maybe you don't even know that it's a fear, right? There could be some pattern or something from your childhood that's going on that keeps getting repeated. And you want to shift that. One of the things that I'm talking about in my book, High on Life, is what I call imprints or harmonic points, where when you have a situation that happens at one point in your life, your brain and your body and your situation will keep repeating that pattern over and over again, and it imprints time and time again until you completely shift it. And so that's what we want to do. You want to learn how do I shift my brain habits? So for here, we want to go beyond limiting beliefs and really start to step into a new consciousness, a new way of being. That is the key. That is the flow. That is the synchronicity. It is beyond just healing some limiting beliefs, but literally shifting the way that you are living and being in your consciousness. Now we go to the next module, the next step, the next key to quantum miracles and limitless potential, what I call emotion coding. So in our quantum miracles, we actually go through a process that we actually teach in our quantum healing course also, and it's understanding emotions and how they're coded into your system, into your DNA, into your physical system, into your energetic field. Like you have you have an actual emotional field around you, right? And so here we are combining this potential, right, of the intention that we had with emotion to create profound energy shifts. But it's not enough to just create to create an emotion that creates an intention. We've got to see what are the emotions that you already have. How do we shift the ones that are in there? This is where law of attraction and we start to battle each other out, right? Like this is one of those places where they be like, law of attention says thoughts create things. Thoughts do create things in a way, and if I am thinking that I want to be wealthy, and yet I have some sort of programming from my brain habits that then codes into my body or my physical system as a trigger or an emotion that says that I am not worthy or I don't feel abundant or any of those types of things, what will happen? Well, let me explain. So the heart is 5,000 times magnetically stronger and 100 times electrically stronger than your brain. So this thought that you're thinking, when you think it, right, it's like sending an envelope. You're getting an envelope and you're putting on that envelope your manifestation. I am wealthy. Let's just use the I am statement, right? Because I am statements are so powerful. I am wealthy. And your brain is the one putting the stamp on it. And you stamp that, and as you send I am wealthy out to the universe, and you're sending it out from California, and I am wealthy is in Florida. But what happens is then all of a sudden, the post office, which is your heart, says, well, no, I don't believe that that's the right destination. I don't believe I'm wealthy. I'm going to, and all of a sudden the postmaster holds up that mail in Texas and it never makes it to Florida, and then it shoots it back to you, right? So the heart is so much stronger than your thoughts and your brain. So what we want to do is we want to recode the heart. We want to recode the system, and infuse your intentions and these emotions together so that that piece of mail that's been stamped by the brain, which it really needs to be stamped by the heart, I am wealthy, and the brain together, right? Coherence between the two, so that that piece of mail then makes it to its destination. So we all heard it, right? Infuse your life with joy, gratitude, and fun. I believe, yes, gratitude is one of the most powerful things that you can do. But a lot of people say, well, how do we get into how we got into this gratitude, this piece? What I talk about, and even more, is adding in an element of play. So playfulness, that energy of awe and wonder of a child. Remember when you were a child? You had awe and wonder at the silliest little things. What would happen in your life if every day you woke up with awe and wonder? If you started to feel that, I say go to play, awe, and wonder to start to open up those experiences. But we got to figure out, how do we instill that into our system every day? So when you have awe and wonder, play, gratitude, it will literally magnetize these positive experiences into your life. Because why? The heart is a magnet. It literally is a electromagnetic field. And you have a bioenergetic field too, right? Like you have these fields that are all working, and the quantum field is electromagnetic, right? It's energy, it's everything. So and what is emotion? An emotion is energy in motion. And so sometimes we have stuck emotions. Like I work with a lot of trauma informed, and trauma is where I started all my work. Fight, flight, or freeze, right? If you're stuck in one of these trauma responses, then emotion coding or getting what you want is not going to happen. If you wake up every day and you complain, or you talk about, or you have a story about how you've been wronged, or the things that are going on in your life, or any of those types of experiences, what you're literally doing is putting an emotional stamp on creating that same experience over and over again. So instead, we want to be embracing the magic of simple things, yes, the big things, but everyday magic of everyday moments and experiences and things like that. So I say it's time to get blissed out. So this goes back to connecting in with that higher consciousness and this feeling of bliss. So and getting to that. But I'll be honest with you, it's really hard to get right to bliss, right? Especially if you are worried, shame, guilt, stress, any of those types of things, right? So when I talk about emotion coding, I say first get to neutral. When you can stop having the feeling, right, of frustration or anger, like I did when I broke that ore in Nepal, and my underlying emotion, I had created a pretty fantastic life up to that point, but I still had this underlying frustration and anger that I had not resolved, and it was keeping me from having that alignment. So back to that story about Nepal, what happened after I had that flow and that synchronicity, when I stepped into that, over the next couple of months of me being there and in other places, I started to understand the step-by-step processes that I was implementing, because my life literally became magical. I had things happen that there was no conceivable possible way that I couldn't have planned to happen. And I actually explain and go into a lot of these stories about both mine and my clients in the Quantum Miracles course. But I started to really have things like I got to hike through the Chitwan National Forest with two guides, by chance. And the Chitwan National Forest, if you guys don't know what that is, that's the movie that the Jungle Book was made off of. And there was a rhinoceros that was 100 feet right next to me. There's no gates. There's nothing. This is like safari, right? Like if you're sort of African safari, but in Nepal without a car, on foot, with lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, yeah. So things like that, but that started happening in my life, where synchronicities and experiences happen that allowed me to understand how to feel these experiences and create the more magical experiences in my life. All right. Next. The fifth key to the fifth key to unlimited potential, the fifth secret of quantum miracles is what I call the God field. You can call it the quantum field, the divine matrix, Atma. I call it the God field because not that I'm religious in any way, shape, or form, in that I've actually taught in I've taught in religions across the board, from Hindu to Muslim to Christian. Like it has nothing to do with your belief in a religion, but it has to do with the belief in an omnipotent, all-knowing, infinite web of possibilities, right? It's your collaboration with the cosmos, the all that we are, and learning to communicate your desires to this web of infinite possibilities. Now, see the key there's a key here. There is actually a language, a way to communicate with the field. So I do quantum healing. I do CRV, controlled remote viewing. I am literally able to, like, if you think of like a lamp, and when you're a lamp and you plug yourself into the field, you have access to all of the wisdom and the knowledge of all space and time to access that for yourself. And so when you learn how to harness this energy, you connect with that universal intelligence, God, or whatever you want to call it, right? Source, divine light, and that this thing that is underlying all creation. And you invite miracles into your reality and welcome blessings that rain down on you from this beautiful, loving, abundant field. So let me tell you what just happened over the weekend when I was, I lost my... when I was doing the 3-day miracles challenge. So I was doing the 3-day miracles challenge with our community, and day 3 was called "It's Raining Blessings." Literally, we go through it and we're like, how many blessings can you count up in the next 48 hours? And you say, I want one that's going to be super amazing, like something out of this world, right? So we were doing this. Well, I started mine with my partner. Him and I decided to do It's Raining Blessings on Sunday. And we woke up on Monday, and with what my partner does for work, he, if it's raining, it's a really great thing because we get to spend more time together. It's good for what he's doing in his security business, and things like that. So we came downstairs and we'd slept in because we'd had a beautiful journey on the day before, and had done some really deep work, and had spent like 7 hours journeying through healing together and doing this deep connection work, right? So we slept in on Monday, and I got up and I walked downstairs and I was like, it's raining blessings. It's raining blessings. We got to do, we have 24 more hours. And he's like, well, I'd really just like it to rain. And I looked at him and I said, okay, let's make that. And I walked up to the window. I put my hands on it like this. I looked out, and Native Americans talk about, like, when they do rain dancing or things like that, they say, and this is the language, working with the field, right? The God field is you're not wishing for something. You're not wanting something. You become the thing that it is to create it. You feel the essence of it. You're in that. And so I became rain. I felt rain. I felt it. Just like how I manifested my partner. I've known him for 25 years. We dated for a long time in the past, and then we lost touch with each other for 22 years. And then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 months ago, he literally was in my bed with me in my home in California and in other places, like wrapped around me. I felt him. I could feel him. He wasn't really there. And it was literally, that was part of it was communicating with the field to breathe, not on purpose. It just happened that way. But this thing with the rain was the same. I felt it within 15 minutes, no joke. And I know this sounds incredulous, but it really was. Within 15 minutes, it was raining, and it was raining so hard that my friend that lives around the corner, and she might actually be on this call, I wouldn't. And if she is, I'm going to actually have her talk a little bit later. If Barbara, if you're on the call, because she's usually on everything that I do. My friend that's around the corner from here, she's a friend, student of the Academy, has done all of our courses, but now is a dear friend. Actually, I call her my stepmother. Happens to be, I've moved to Ohio recently, lives like a mile away from me now, which is amazing. She calls me and she says, my basement is flooding. I was like, maybe I overdid it. And it literally did rain almost the whole entire day. So it is possible to connect and communicate with the field, to have things happen, to do that. So when you align your energy, your thoughts, your emotions with bliss consciousness in these highest frequencies, and learn how to talk to the field, communicate with it, you will create a impact, a conscious alignment in the field of your life and with the world at large. And this is when you get to understand the vastness of time and space, and how these things work together, and how we can step out of time and space. I'm never late. I am always on time or early, even when I leave for things that I should be late for. Why? Because I don't believe in and that time works differently for me. I always have more than enough time. I get things done in record amounts of time, because why? Time is something that exists in our brain, but when you use the field and you learn how to play with that, you can do that. I always have the best parking spot. The parking spot always opens up for me, right? Like, these are the types of these are like silly little things that you can do, but it shows into the bigger experience, like how you can use the experience with the God field to really do that, because you can literally have blessings rain on you. And every day is a blessing. And when you start counting your blessings, guess what? The field listens to that energy too, through joy and gratitude, and keeps sending you more. All right. Step 6, and then we're going to talk about step 6, or this the 6th key to unlimited potential and quantum miracles. And then we're going to dive into doing a little quantum jumping for ourselves today. And then, of course, I'm going to be sharing with you about how you start to do this step by step every single day for the next 2 months, because I guarantee you, if you do it for 2 months straight, you will have incredible results. Like one of my former students, Renee, did. Renee had been taking our programs, and when she was doing it and consistently and the accountability and doing the stuff every day, she had a $30,000 month for the first time out of nowhere, and started having clients coming in. She wasn't doing anything different in her marketing or in her business or things like that. It was just the way that she was aligned to the field and having gone through these step-by-step process. So one of my favorite things is timeline jumping, or timelines, right? So what is a timeline, first off? Does anybody, you guys know timelines? You got this? Yeah, okay, I got to get him some yeses. Okay. If not, I will give a short explanation of a timeline so that you kind of understand how it works. And then we'll explain this. So a timeline is, right now, your trajectory of your life is on a timeline, meaning that right now, with every choice that you're making, you have a trajectory, a path. Think of it like you're walking in a forest, and you have forks in the road. Your timeline is the one is the fork that you're choosing, that you're on right now. But there are lots of potentialities and timelines possible to you. When we think of a timeline like this, I like to say, think of a flashlight. Okay, so you have a flashlight, and it has its core, which is the thing. That's your soul. That's the piece of you. And out of this is when the light is flashing out, you have one stream of light, which is the one that is the most prominent, right? That one stream of light is the most prominent. It is the one that is the most solidified. And then closest to it, there's like all these other rays of light that are like maybe 1 degree, very, very, very close, right? And they're all streaming out this way. That's your timeline, the one that you're on right now, because of all the brain habits that you're doing, all the choices that you're making, everything is leading you down this path here. And then there's a couple that are, all these ones that are really close over here that are maybe a small choice or a thing, here or there difference, but pretty close, even though 1 degree is all it takes to completely change your life, right? Because what happens if it's 1 degree difference here at the source, then that becomes something, it could be 90-degree difference, completely different life out here in the future. Well, everything, your brain habits, your emotions, your experiences, your trauma, all of the things from your life are what's keeping you in the timeline that you're in right now. But what I like to talk about is think about that timeline, right? These timelines. And then there's these ones that are way out here that are really big and different. You'd have to have a jump to quantum leap to jump out to one of those. You'd have to make some really major changes to do that. Or do you? Think of it this way. You have a hotel and, we go to those fancy hotels and you get a key card, and the key card only lets you on your floor. So you get your key card, you check into the hotel. Your quantum key gets you on floor number 2 of your quantum hotel, your hotel. When you get in the elevator, you hit the key and you step off the elevator onto level 2, floor 2, right? That is your timeline in this lifetime, your reality that is being created by your perceptions and your everything. Your reality might say that, let me use my reality. So my reality, I get off on level 2. My reality says I never got COVID because I didn't believe in it for myself because I live in a 5th dimensional reality. I believe in, that I live in a benevolent universe. So therefore nothing, I don't have harm come to me when I've traveled to 51 countries where most women shouldn't travel by themselves. And I've worked in the slums where there's trafficking, right? I believe in a benevolent universe. My trajectory on level 2 says that, and to be clear, I'm not saying I don't believe in COVID. Like I know what COVID happened. I'm saying for my life, my energy that I don't believe that it could happen for me. Okay. Anyways, let me clear that out. But I also know that in this quantum hotel, that's my reality there, that somewhere the reality of someone lives at 1, 3, 4, 5, not one being above or below or any better or worse, but that their realities are different. This person doesn't believe in a benevolent universe. So their version of Earth is hell, right? This person doesn't believe in or, bought into and believes in vaccines. And so their reality for what they're living in this level is real for them, right? All of these realities are co-created and are happening all at the same time. So that's why when you can meet someone that has an absolute dead different view or opinion about the world than you, and there's nothing you can do to change that. They are actually living their truth and their reality because they are living in it's co-creating. Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? There is a huge amount of people that remember Nelson Mandela dying in 1991. There is a huge amount of people, right? There's all Jif compared to Jiffy peanut butter. There's multiple realities going on at the same time, and we're living in them. And depending on which timeline you're in is the reality that you're going to pick up on. But that doesn't mean that other people's realities aren't co-creating with yours, and that there's a similar but different, and that what they believe to be true. So heaven and hell do actually exist right now. And depending on your timeline will depend on what you are creating or believing in that. But the key is your quantum key. The quantum codes that you have coded into your life are keeping you at the level that you're on, but there's these other levels. Your highest destiny timeline level is somewhere in there. I've only recently gone into my next highest destiny timeline. I had quantum jumped in 2017, another story from this time when I was traveling. After I left Nepal, I ended up in Indonesia for my 40th birthday. And I ended up, I had a situation where called retrocausal, where previous years before I had stepped into future events. And I saw myself on my 40th birthday in Bali, fireworks going off, all this party happening, all these things. At that point in time in my life, 4 years prior, 3 or 4 years prior, didn't even really know anything about Bali. I wasn't on my radar, any of those types of things. It was like, okay, here we go. So when I ended up in Bali for my 40th birthday, later, it was a mind-blowing experience. And I didn't even remember that I'd had that retrocausal meaning that when you step into a scientifically proven that a future event will come back and grab you and pull you towards it. So you can timeline jump into a new future by stepping into a future event in your highest destiny timeline, or stepping into a future event and having it come back and grab you. So that event that I stepped into years prior created the timeline that then on my birthday, I literally had a visceral shift in my life when I turned 40, where the whole world shifted around me. And I was like, oh my God. And I was in tunnel lot and I bawled my eyes out and I cried for hours and I knew the world would never be the same, and it never was. I had shifted into a new timeline and miraculous things happened. I had previous in my life in 2004 when I ran away from my drug trafficking and left my kid in Ohio, lost everything that I owned. I didn't have baby pictures for my kid. I didn't have any of the things. Yet when I made that timeline shift within a couple of months of that timeline shift, I had a friend call me, not a friend from Ohio where I'd left everything, but a friend from Florida where I'd moved, who called me and said, I have a box of things that belong to you. Do you want them? I've been carrying them around with me for 10 years and it's in my garage. Sure, I want the box. I didn't know what it was. Turns out that it was pictures from my child, my baby's baby books, love letters from my lover at the time, my boyfriend, who was the love of my life, who is now the person that after 22 years, we're back together. Like all of these things showed up in my life because I shifted timelines. And so in that other timeline, that this higher life timeline that I stepped into, I had actually given that box to a person to make sure that I would get it for my future self. But I didn't do that in the timeline that I remember that I had experienced before. I know these things sound crazy if you've never experienced this, but I have tons of people that will tell you experiences where they've jumped timelines and crazy things happen. Like you have a favorite shirt that you had that was one color in your closet, and you jump a timeline and all of a sudden it's a different color. But and you'll know it's a good timeline or not, because it's either now your favorite color or you don't like the color or not. Ways to pay attention to things. So retrocausal, we'll come back, it will pull you forward. And you can timeline jump. So in this elevator, right, what we do is when you have the quantum codes, when you can recode your system, we do have the love code, the abundance code, like, the mind code, the God code, all these things. When you recode your quantum key, you have new keys to your reality that you can go back on that elevator and guess what? Get to your highest timeline. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little jump, a little just retrocausal experience. So we're going to quantum leap it. Are you guys ready to try this little thing with me? Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to do something super simple so that you guys have an idea of what it feels like to step into your future self. Okay. All right. So I'm going to, you know what? No, I'm not going to put any music on in the background. Ever since Zoom has changed their stuff, it's super difficult sometimes to get it done correctly. So we're not going to do that. All right. What we're going to do is I want all of you, if you are capable of doing it, I want you to stand up. And if you're not capable of standing up, if you're in a car or you're somewhere where you don't have room to stand up, you can do this in your mind. But if you can stand up, I want you to stand up. And you're going to stand up and you're going to draw a circle on the floor with your fingers. So you're going to stand up and in front of you, you're going to draw a circle on the floor. And just know that that circle on the floor is your future. Okay? That is your future. And we're going to walk you through a experience of stepping into your future self so that you can pull that experience back for retrocausal so that you can start to move into that experience. Okay. So now I just want you to think, if you were the bravest possible version of yourself, what would you do? Think about it. Say it out loud. Say it out loud. If you were the bravest possible version of yourself, what would you do? And if you were to do that, what would having that do for you? Think about it. If you were the bravest possible version of yourself, what would you do? And if doing that, and by having that thing, what would that do for you? What stops you from doing that? Now I want you to think a moment, okay? So now you got to know, wait, what's the block? What's the, whatever the belief was that came up right there, what is it? What stops you? Just notice it. It's good to know what's stopping you. Now let's go back to, if you were the bravest possible version of yourself, what would you do? Think about that. And what, by doing that, what kind of life would that create for you? I want you to pick a date. Not, you don't have, you could pick the exact date if you want, but sometime in the future, I want you to pick either somewhere 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. Pick one of those. When this thing, when you create this thing that you will finally have the love, the freedom, the abundance, the clients, all of the things that if you were to helicopter and look at your life, you would create it and everything that would be in the feeling of what for you right now is what you think is your highest destiny timeline. Because what I've come to find is like with our limited view, we think our highest timeline, usually we're only looking at one of those that are really, really close to it because that's all we can imagine at this point. And that's okay, because once you get to one of those, then we can get you to one of these. So, right out of that string. So think about it. Imagine, just take a moment to know and feel like, what would that be? And so what I'm going to do is in a moment, in the perfect amount of time in the future now, I'm going to have you step into that circle. That circle is this moment in your future, whether it's 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. Do not try to control what happens. I know you think I'm just stepping into a circle. What I know to be true is that some magical things happen because we live in an energetic quantum reality world. And this is your first opportunity to believe in the quantum field and use your power as a quantum creator to step into your future and see what's happening. So when you have a good idea of that version of you that you are, the bravest version of you that you are becoming, that you want to become, I want you to feel that version. I want you to step into that circle. Step into that circle. Start to breathe this experience in. Just notice, what do you feel? What do you notice? Do you feel tingling in your body? Do you notice difference? Start to step into this future you and start to look around. What do you see? What do you notice? Who's with you? Where are you? What's happening? See it, feel it, notice it. This is the next version of you in your highest timeline. Maybe you're not really good yet at figuring out how to see things or notice things, but just tap in, notice your body, notice sensations. Do you feel different? Do you feel light? Sometimes people, when you're seeing, using their clairs, maybe you don't see something, maybe you just feel it or know it, whatever you're seeing is. What is it that this future you is believing about themselves that is allowing them to have this experience? What is this future you believing about others that is allowing them to have this experience? What is this future you believing about the world that is allowing them to have this experience? Now, I want you to dial up those feelings in your heart, that knowing in your heart, dial it up until it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 9 or a 10. Feel it in your body, scale it up. Look around you, notice, remember this, because I can tell you, I've done this enough times with hundreds and hundreds of people to know that this can show up in your life. I had somebody that did this, and they stepped into they weren't quite sure what it was. Like, they stepped into a kitchen, and they're like, it's like really bright and yellow and like shiny, and they're like, you know, they wanted to manifest a home, their home and everything and stuff, and they're like, yeah, it was like kind of weird, like bright and shiny and, you know, yellow and everything. And then sure enough, I think it was like within a year and a half, when they were house shopping in Orange County, California, and walked into the kitchen of the house that they ended up buying. And they walked in, and they're like, oh my God, this is it. This is the house. This is the yellow, like, wow, it was incredible. And they're like, this was what I was seeing, with the sparkly yellow, like, and they knew immediately, that was the home that they would end up buying. And they made an offer, which was, different than what the offer, you know, like, I get, they shouldn't have got it with the offer that they made, but they did, kind of thing, right? So this is possible. All right, load up on all of that, figure it all out, and step out of the circle and bring it back to the you of today that is with us here right now. Great job. So that is just a little taste of what the retrocausal feels like. Now there's a whole bigger, deeper process we do with timeline jumping, with breath work and things that we'll be doing, which you're going to love. But I would love to hear in the chat, share some of the things that you're noticing, or what your experience was like on that. And I'm actually going to look over here real quick and see who's on my call over here. I made the mistake of accidentally sending out a link that had my thing on it. So everybody's name is my name. So I don't know who anybody is right now. It's the strangest thing. But anyways, okay. So now let's get back to what we were just doing. Let me share my screen again, and we will keep going. Share my screen. Dun, dun, dun. So I hope did you guys enjoy the quantum retrocausal leap? Did you enjoy that experience? It's a lot of fun, right? Yes. Okay. So now that you know the keys to unveiling your quantum consciousness, quantum miracles, are you ready to take it further? How many of you are ready to take it further? You're like, yes, I got some ideas. I understand some steps. I'm going to do some live as if. I love the retrocausal, but I know that I want to understand more. Well, I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, so for those of you that want to hang out and stay with me, about the Quantum Miracles course and the profound results that other students have had, and that they've had with that, and share some of the ways that you can journey into the quantum field in the art of manifestation and higher states of consciousness, where you can uncover the hidden blocks that are keeping you from moving forward, enhance your intuition, and create the life of magic and miracles that you've always desired. Okay, let me see what we got going on over here. It's okay. Somebody's saying, oh, so you're saying I was trying to figure out this timeline exercise this morning. Yes, it said it was hard to imagine concrete actions, but I felt love and ability with some kind of nobility. Oh, I love that. Okay, great. Awesome. Beautiful. So the quantum miracles experience are the key objectives, the things that you're going to learn in the 8 weeks that we spend together. The first is the 6-step process that I just went through with you, right? So you're going to learn the 7-step formula for powerful intentions and unleashing your creative potential. You're going to experience spiritual alchemy. It's that seemingly magical process of transformation that transmutes your reality. And these are this is a scientific, so it's Vedic science, quantum physics, neuroscience, along with experiments with the field that are going to teach you step by step to go through this in a fun, playful environment, because why? We got to have play, right? So you're going to learn to break free from your brain habits, turn on the frontal lobe, the pineal gland, so that you can reach higher states of consciousness. You're going to learn to master, right? Master your emotions, master emotion coding, which is an actual process. I actually use this with kids as young as 3.5 years old. It's super powerful. And harness the power of intention and feeling to change your biology and your energy. Then you're going to learn how to engage with the God field, how to use the intelligent and universal field fabric of all possibilities, how you can get your quantum key, right? And learn how to shift your quantum codes so that you can shift to a different timeline, figure out different ways, have this, so that you can understand timelines, harness retrocausation, and create your future from your present. So this is the way that we work through this. So what do we say? So dun, 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 dun. Michelle says the way you have it structured, getting down to the stuff that really matters. There's no need to, that is where we need to go. You can do it right, but if you're not healing the wounds underneath, you will never feel fulfilled. People who want real transformation and deep healing work, this class is a must. If you want to heal to the core, this is the program. So one of the keys is about healing. So many people want to manifest, right? You want to manifest, you want to create miracles, but the key to manifestation, what's the opposite side of the coin? Heal your shit. Heal the stuff that's keeping you, your trauma, your stuff that's keeping you from moving forward and doing that. So how do you want to know if this program is for you? Let's look at these things. What this program is for you if you are a visionary. What is a visionary? A visionary is someone that is visioning a new future for our planet, right? You are in the place of visioning of the new earth that we are walking on. Maybe you're a light leader or just a spiritual seeker or a truth seeker, someone that is deep into personal development and self-help, and you just want to, you've tried all the things, you've done all the things, you're like, I just want to learn something that's concrete, that's going to give me a way to do this and really help me so I can go help others, so I can help the world, so I can maybe just help my family, right? You are on a path to learning a new way. You want to manifest your dreams into reality. You're tired of having things come willy-nilly, and you're like, I really want to experience these deep states of intuition, these spiritual connection, and I'd love to have a tangible result, like not just something out in the ethers, but like something really tangible. Maybe you're a little stressed out or you're anxious, feeling a little unfulfilled, and you feel like there's like limitations. Maybe you're stuck, your quantum key is stuck on 2, and you're just like, I really want to get to that elevator. My elevator is broke, right? Fudge, like, let me do it. Let's transform my life. And you've tried various techniques without success, or you've had a little bit of success, and you're ready for a scientific and step-by-step process. You're going to learn how to access deep states of intuition, connect with your higher self and the collective consciousness. You're going to unleash the power of intention and emotion coding for miraculous healing and manifestation. I guarantee you will experience transformational shifts in your relationship, your finances, and overall well-being. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. Discover the art of manifestation in quantum reality, which transcends the limitations of the material world. The reason that this is different than other manifesting courses that you've taken is because I'm interweaving quantum physics, Vedic science, right? Levels of higher consciousness, along with a step-by-step process and play and fun, right? In this, like, and neuroscience to go with that too. All of the things that I've studied and all the degrees and everything that I've had, little bits and pieces of that come into this program. And we've had people heal physical things, mental challenges, all sorts of things just from this simple program. This is our like level 1 fun program, right? I just talked about that. It goes beyond traditional manifesting. It's a scientifically designed step-by-step process. I am, a scientist at heart. We have weekly experiments. So the fun thing is the play with the field. Every week you have an experiment. You have something that you get to partner with all of the learning that you're doing and the science behind it and the fun. Then you get this playful thing that you get to do with it that then shows you how to interact with the field and how to create in that space. So you unlock those secrets to unveiling, the quantum reality and aligning your consciousness with the magic of the universe. And then there's guidance, and we have this beautiful guidance and this time together. We have a private off social media group. How many of you are done with Facebook and Facebook groups? I have been for a while. I've been off of social media of that for a while. And so I no longer want to use those groups. And so I have your own private group that is part of our membership site. So the Quantum Miracles 8-week intensive, which is those 6 modules that I just shared with you, right? The 6 modules of the 6 keys, along with 2 live miracles sessions. So 8 weeks altogether, where we will be diving deep into each of those step-by-step processes and then working together to harness them. And in that 8-week intensive, also every week you have an experiment that goes with it. That's a part of that, right? Next in that, so not only do you have the 8-week, the 6 modules, the 2 live classes, and the 8 weeks with me together in our private community that we have, where we're daily accountability and daily things that will be going on in there. You'll get our Miracles Frequency Brainwave Entertainment music that was specifically built, specifically done for my company. It is the Frequency of Miracles and 220, 220, 220 hertz, where you can immerse yourself in the frequency of miracles and activate your manifestation abilities. I literally put it in my ears and listen to it daily. It's amazing. You'll also get my quantum meditations. We are in the process of, I'm excited. I am remastering. I have like 9 quantum meditations. They're all being remastered and redone. And they train your brain and your energy fields to align with quantum field for accelerated results. I haven't recorded quantum meditations since for about 2 years, again, since I walked away from the business, but we are remastering and redoing some of them. So you're going to be getting brand new. So some of you that have been in my course before, guess what? They're all brand new. They're going to be great for you. You'll also get the 8 quantum consciousness experiments to engage with the field. And there's some other things that we're going to be doing too, but let's see. Kelly was a student that she said, my life is crazy, right? How do you have crazy lives? And she says, I've never been intuitive or even heard of teachings like yours before. So this is for those of you that are like, yeah, but I don't know anything about this. Maybe you have, maybe you're not a spiritual seeker yet, or you're just starting. You're like, what do I do with this? She said, all of this was like something too abstract for somebody like me. But after just 1 lesson of the Quantum Miracles course, she set 2 intentions. One of them was that she would be able to pay off her house early. And she said by December of 2022, she took this course, I think it was May of 2021. And guess what? She did it. Yes, she paid off her course. And this was after only or paid off her house. This was after only 1 module, the very first one. Just the setting intentions, because the way that you set the intentions is different. So even if you're like a little leery, this is a really powerful way to do that. Okay, so this is where it gets fun. Those of you that have already, so I've already been offering this course and we've had a ton of signups already. Everybody that already got into the Quantum Miracles course and signed up last week, guess what? You get these bonuses too, plus the bonus that you got last week that is not being offered anymore. Your limited time bonus, which is for the next 24 hours only, is a live class with Neil Donald Walsh. Guess what? Neil Donald Walsh is coming in to do a live class for my students. I love him. I've interviewed him and he's been in my Quantum Miracles docuseries now for several years running. My docuseries has reached over 1 million people and he is part of that. And so he's going to be doing a live class for you guys that are joined in. That is super exciting, right? And then on top of that, my Quantum Miracles, oh, hold on. I apologize. I am looking for something for you. Okay. My Quantum Miracles Mastery docu-series, which is over 40 online video classes, workshops, lessons from the top leaders, including Neil Donald Walsh, Dr. Sue Morter, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., oh my gosh, I can't even, Jack Canfield, you name it. I've probably I've done everybody. Mary Morrissey, Deborah King, like all of the people have come together and I interview them and we do classes and workshops for you. That package in itself is $797 and it is a bonus included for you for free for the next 24 hours. These are very limited, meaning that you get all of the other amazing stuff with the course, but these 2 are just for people because you're here live. You showed up, you took the time, and when you sign up in the next 24 hours, you'll get these to go with it. So you get the 6 miracles modules to retrain your brain, your body, and your spirit. You get 2 live miracles sessions with me. You get the miracles frequency audio. You get the quantum miracles meditations. You get today's special bonus, right, for the next 24 hours only, which is the class with Neil Donald Walsh and the Quantum Miracles Mastery docu-series, which is over 40 workshops and classes on how to create miracles in your life. Surprise, that's what I do, right? In the 8 quantum consciousness experiments to finally engage the God field. The value of this whole thing together, literally, these have been sold separately and done differently and stuff. It equals, and if you go to my website right now, if you go to intuitiveintelligencetrainings.com right now and just try to order just the Quantum Miracles course by itself, it is literally priced like at that price, right? So I'm telling you that this is the whole thing. You get the total value is $2,583. Your price is $444. But wait, I'm going to do something else for you guys after I tell you about some of my other clients. So Sarah, she said, I received completely unexpected deposits into her Venmo account from bar customers totaling $450, and she had a check for $1,500 from a relative that she hadn't spoken to in years. From just a week or two in the program, like when she started, things just started showing up. This is what happens when you get into flow. Thea said the techniques gave her the confidence. The techniques and the confidence are that you instill are invaluable. She said, I feel more confident in my ability to bring forth what I want in my life. You have an openness and genuine warmth emanating from me that draws people to you with ease for healing to evolve themselves. I love Thea. Awesome. Okay. Wait, where's the, hold on. So you can go, I'm going to put this link in the chat, or you can scan, you can just put your phone, it's really cool. You can put your phone up to this and just scan the QR code right now. But I'm going to show you with a special offer for tonight. So what you guys got, all of those things that I just said, your price is $444. The offer is you can get it today for $333. I'm going to put the link in the chat right here. And there is, if you are a returning student, then you can get the course for $111. So anybody that's coming in that you've taken the Quantum Miracles course before, you get it for $111 to retake it. We've had students that retake it almost every year because it's that powerful and they love it. But if this is your first time, it's going to be, instead of 2,500 and whatever, this is, the other, you can get it for $333. And there is an option to break up the payments into four pay. So it makes it like $83. So you can get started and join for $83. We start next week. We are going to be going live next week with our welcome class. And then we will be having our miracles sessions. So I'm going to go back one. Dun, 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 dun. I'm so grateful that each and every one of you for joining me today for these 6 secrets to unlimited potential, understanding how quantum miracles can help you manifest and create miracles in your life, rewire your system, rewire your brain, join a group. We have a private community. We have a lot of fun things. You're going to get all these wonderful bonuses to reframe your life and reframe your brain. Come join our Neil Donald Walsh and as he joins our Quantum Miracles course and class. I hope that each and every one of you really do create miracles in your life. If you don't take this course, that's totally okay. I still want you to create miracles, and I want you to do that, live as if. And I'd love to hear how retro causation shows up for you. I am going to see, I put the link in the comments, and the link is below for those of you watching on YouTube. You can see the link below. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share this, because we love you so much and want to have all of your yummy energy in there. If you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat. The exact dates, the live trainings starting next week. You'll get an email. They're like, I think it's like September 11th, September 20. Next week on Monday, I know that in the evening, August 21st. And it is recorded in case you missed, is our welcome call. That is a welcome. That's not one of the Lives of Miracle sessions. That's just a welcome. Come to the community. Let's go through the process. Let's talk about module 1. Let's get everything set up, do that kind of thing. And then the next day, no, they're not all on Mondays. The next day, on Tuesday, is Neil Donald Walsh's class. That is next Tuesday. So next week you got a double dose, Monday and Tuesday. And then the other classes are after. It's like every 2.5 or every 2 weeks. And so, but no, I don't do them all on the same night, just in case everybody can have different things, but they are during the week. They are not on the weekends. So they're like a Monday, a Wednesday, usually Mondays and Wednesdays, but there is a Tuesday. So I hope that helps. You get it's in the emails. It sends you the thing exactly. So I hope that helps. Anyways, any other questions? Let's see what we got. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to just go through. Okay. And look at all of you here. Thank you all again so very much for joining me today. And, well, here's another message. Great. Let's see. How many live classes? There are four live classes for if you have not already registered. People that there was a bonus, that there was a couple of other live classes for a timeline thing. You'll have an opportunity possibly to upgrade to the timeline course that we're offering with that also. But there are 4 live classes along with the 6 modules and the online program. So you get the modules and they're built out every couple of weeks so that you get 2 modules and then you have the class, and then we have, except for when we start next week. So great question. Thank you for asking. Yes. All right, wonderful people. Go to bit.ly/quantum miracles 2. If you have anything else, you'll also be getting an email with the information and this replay. Love you all so very much. Thank you for being a part of my community. And if you need anything or have any questions, just shoot me an email too, melissa@melissabinkley.com. If for some reason you need a different payment plan or something else that you need me to work with you on, please ask. Namaste. Bye, everyone.